G'day everybody, how we going? Guess what? I've got an update on the Troopy situation. Also, I do have some exciting news that I'll let you guys know at the end, but I think it's pretty damn cool, so stick around. Up we go. Cubby house, let's go. So what's the update I've got for you? I'm holding this thing like an absolute TikToker. So for those of you who have been following along, especially last week's video where I gave you an update on the channel, this Troopy and everything, you'll know that I'm focusing on getting this car on the road. It's currently not being registered. I picked it up in Victoria before traveling to Tasmania, so therefore you need to get a roadworthy certificate. It's had lots of work that's needed to be done to it. However, things have been put in motion. There's been movement since our last conversation, one-way conversation. So let me bring you up to speed. Good morning, everybody. Guess what? Today, we take the Troopy for the roadworthy certificate. Cross all your fingers and toes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, wipers are working. That's good. Let's head off to the shop, shall we? I jump in the Troopy and we drive down to the garage, which is about 15 minutes away. We drop it off, see yous later. Now, Grace has been doing some photography for some Airbnbs in Tassie and also some shacks. There's a thing called Shack Life Tasmania. We drop off the Troopy. I jump in Grace's car and we go to one of these stays. And this one's called Cleary's Corner and it's in Brim Creek. And it was absolutely stunning. I'm going to splice some footage in here. It was absolutely stunning. It was a beautiful little timber, tiny house nestled in between these two hills. It was perched up on a small hill overlooking this little valley that sort of led down into a plateau with an ocean view. We were lucky enough to see whales, like loads of whales swimming past. But this whole time, I'm sort of enjoying it, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about the Troopy. Fast forward to Wednesday afternoon. I get a text message. Roll footage. We received some information about an hour ago, and unfortunately, the Troopy passed its roadworthy inspection. Let's go! Cheers! I could not believe it. It had been such a long time coming, as you know, like 4 months, 4 or 5 months actually. And to be in that place when I get that news, it was meant to be. So we did a little celebration. We had a glass of wine. We had a bottle of wine. We enjoyed our rest of the time. We've done it again. Thursday morning comes round. We pack up. We leave the tiny house. We head back towards the garage on our way home. So I run up the stairs into the office. I'm like, g'day, I'm here for my roadworthy certificate. I pay my $900 and whatever for that. And I walk out of there with the roadworthy certificate in my hot little hands. See that? See that right there? She's all good. And I jump in the Troopy and Grace and I head home. We call it a day. The next morning we wake up, right? We're full of beans. We're excited. Let's go get the Troopy registered. All right, everybody, this is it. It's the final stage in this whole saga. We've got the paperwork. We've got the Troopy. Grace is getting the car fired up. Let's go see if we can get this thing registered. I'm nervous, I'm actually sweating. We hop in the car, I've got all my documentation, and I look at Grace as we're headed there in her car and I say, do you have a feeling like this Troopy saga just isn't quite over yet? I've just got a weird feeling. Next second I realise we've got to bang a U-turn out here because I've left the Victorian plates on the Troopy and we need to surrender those. So we turn around, we get the plates off the Troopy, and then we continue our way back towards Service Tasmania. Get ready for this part. We walk into Service Tas. My first thought is, wow, there's only 3 people in here. This is amazing. Back in Sydney, I'd be waiting in line for 2 hours. So I'm thinking, yes, we're killing it. Too easy. Walk up to the counter, and Angie, I believe it is, bless her sweetheart, she tells us, just letting you know, the system's down. Technology, mate. It's come back. It's come back for me. Whew. Anyway, she issues us a ticket anyway. She says it might come back up soon. Who knows? We sit there for probably 45 minutes to an hour, and then Systems are back up. We get called. We go to the desk. And in my head, I'm sort of thinking that was the last part of the saga. That was the last part of the saga. Just a funny little moment where the systems are down. We approach the desk. Tanya's there. Tanya says, "What's your number?" And I show her my ticket. She goes, "Put the ticket in there." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." Put my ticket into this little dish. And I've got like my I'm so organized, mate. I've got my folder with all my documents. I've got a little Glad bag, Ziploc Glad bag with all my cards and identification and stuff. She starts like calling out things for me to hand over. I'm dropping paperwork. I've got a seat there. I didn't know whether to stand or sit because she put me on edge just like that. She's moving through 100 miles an hour. It appears like it's going well, but I'm not thinking that. I'm just like, come on, let's keep this moving. And then it happened. We hit our third hiccup of the day. Tanya looks at me and she goes, "Have you got a letter outlining when you issued your Department of Veteran Affairs card?" Which was a card I was using to prove my identity. And I was like, "No." I'm like, why would I need that? She goes, "Well, we need that to prove, when you issued the card." I'm like, "But that's the card. Like, isn't that what the card's for? It's to show that I'm a veteran. I don't understand why you need like another piece of paper to go with the card." And she goes, "Yeah, that's just what we need." I'm about to have a meltdown, and Grace goes, "So does that mean it can't be registered?" And she goes, "Oh no, it just you'll be able to apply for the concession later and just get reimbursed once you get that letter." And I go, "Oh, but we can still register the car." She goes, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't even care. Just let's go. I do not care about saving any money right now. I just want to get this thing done." So it's all sweet. She's moving on. She's cracking on like so efficiently as she was. I'm starting to think, okay, we're good. It's still getting registered. And then Tanya goes, "Oh no." And I'm like, no. What do you mean, oh no? Cut to the footage. You would not believe this. We've got a little update. Literally plates just about to get handed over. I've got my license receipt. And then she goes, oh no. Yeah, whoever did your roadworthy didn't sign it. They put their name and date there. They didn't sign it. So yeah, we can't. And I was just like, face in hands. She was like, "I'm so sorry." And I was like, "That's okay." So I jumped into the car and I've had to call up the bloody place who did it. And I was like, is your mate Lyndon in? He's like, "Yes, he is." Like, okay. We're coming in for a signature. So we're off to get the signature and then we're going to come back. I walk in, old mate comes out. He's super apologetic. He signs the paperwork. I'm like, "Nah, it's all good, dude. Like, don't worry about it." Walk out, hop in the car. Now, see this? See that little squiggle there? It's all good now, I guess. We drive the 20 minutes back to Service Tasmania. We enter once again. We draw another ticket and we wait for another, half an hour, 40 minutes. The number's called and I notice, I'm like, that's not the same lady, Grace. That's not Tanya. Tanya's nowhere to be seen. And I'm just thinking, we were halfway through the process there. This lady's going to be confused. I just know, because Tanya's not here to be like, "Oh, here's this, here's that. This is where I was up to." I'm thinking worst case scenario. Anyway, we get down there. Next second, roll footage. Guess what? We done it again. We bloody did it. We bloody did it. I can't believe that just happened. I'm Tasmanian now. Grace. Feels good. Let's go put these on the Troopy, hey? I'm now Tasmanian. The Troopy is also now Tasmanian. We are together just a Tasmanian bundle. We drive back to Grace's. I go out and I fix the number plates to the car. It looks good. I feel better now. Now I'm actually starting to feel pretty good about the whole thing. I'm getting excited. Finally, there are Tassie plates on the Troopy and I can hop in that thing and drive anywhere, anytime. The Troopy Saga is complete. Like my handiwork? Took that off the back door and wired it up to the back of the jerry can holder. So I've got lights over my rego plate, so it's roadworthy. Now, this brings me to my last little announcement that I wanted to let you guys know about. I've started a podcast. My good mate Geordie Hansen, who's a 2-time Australian Survivor contestant, but also just a genuine all-round funny bloke. He and I have started our very own podcast called The Two GALAHS. You can find a link to the podcast, the first episode, in the description below. I believe it's up on all the sort of the main platforms. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. Whatever you're using, just type in The Two GALAHS and it should come up. We released our first podcast last Monday. We're about to drop the second podcast tomorrow if you're watching this on the night of the video drop. So that'll be Monday 7th of October. And the podcast is going to be all things outdoors, like real broadly, because we don't want to be so niched down that we're only talking about one topic. We just want to be able to explore everything on the podcast. We want to talk about wildlife. We want to get guests on, whether they're survival experts, marine biologists, someone who knows stuff about space. Geordie and I, like, mate, we don't know a whole lot, but we are super eager to learn. So it'll be a pretty interesting listen. But the second one, which is dropping tomorrow, it's already so much better. So the more we do the podcast, the better they're going to become. And especially once we've got the guests on. I don't know if I can really say this, but Outback Mike said that he was keen to come on. And when I asked him publicly on Instagram. So jump on the Instagram page as well, The Two GALAHS. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Also, massive thank you to everybody for the comments on last week's video. The comments were beautiful. They were exactly the sort of feedback I was hoping to be able to get, to see what you guys thought of that idea. Gave me a lot of clarification moving forward. So the next video you'll see will be me out on a fishing trip, an actual adventure. I'm excited. I actually feel like things are moving forward once again. So thanks, guys. Catch you on the next video or catch you on the podcast. Take care, have fun, and that's the out. We've done it again.